With extreme temperatures and humidity this summer, emergency departments across the metro are seeing a number of patients with heat-related illness, which can be dangerous if left untreated. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. This week, as we experience a heat advisory across the metro, we're talking about the importance of heat safety and prevention tips. With me today is Jessica DeWitt, an athletic trainer with Rockhill Orthopaedic Specialists. Thanks so much for joining us outside today.
Thanks for having me.
So this time of year, it's nearly impossible to avoid the heat completely. But what are your tips for avoiding heat-related illness if you are outside?
So two things that really come to mind is the first is to make sure that you're hydrated, well hydrated. A good measuring stick is the color of your urine. And so a white urine or completely clear urine is going to be overhydrated, and then a darker urine is going to be underhydrated, and then just that perfect light yellow, I tell this kids lemonade color, is the color that you're aiming for to make sure. Also modifying your activities. If you can do things either in the morning or in the evening, but that is also unavoidable. So some other things that you can do is really eat your fruits and vegetables. They're going to be a good source of electrolytes and just juice and water for your body. Wear light clothing when you're outside, and really indulge in those cool summer treats, the popsicles and things like that, that'll really help you just kind of stay hydrated without focusing on how much water you're drinking.
Okay, so what's the difference between heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke?
So heat cramps are going to be your most probably common. It's going to start off with cramping in your calves, sometimes in your thighs and your quads. It's probably the most one that people see the most often. And then heat exhaustion is kind of your next level. It's where your body says, my temperature is starting to rise, I have to cool it down. So it'll start profusely sweating. Your skin will be cool and clammy. And so there can be some confusion that goes with that. Heat stroke is the most dangerous of the three. Your body has now said, I can't cool everything, we're gonna cool the vital parts. And so it will actually stop sweating. It'll send all the water to your vital organs. And so your skin will then be hot and to the touch, red, flushed like that. That can also lead to loss of consciousness to reach that. Treatment-wise, just cool as fast as you can. Okay, so if you are feeling ill, or if you notice somebody else experiencing these symptoms, what else should you do besides cooling as fast as you can? Well, if there's not a trained medical person there, you definitely want to call 911. Okay. And so that would be your first step. Second step is to remove them from the source of the heat. So get them out of the heat, direct sunlight. So move them to the shade, put them in AC if you can get them there. You can put them in an ice bath, like a really cool body of water, and then give fluids as they can tolerate.
Okay, so what are the dangers of untreated heat exhaustion or heat stroke? Why is it so important to call 911?
Because ultimately the body is going to shut down. If it's not treated, the vital organs will just shut down, obviously leading into organ failure, which can have really long-term effects for your body.
Okay. Are there any groups that are at higher risk for heat illness?
Infants are going to be a group that's high risk. Older persons over the age of 65 are going to be at more risk. And then in your kind of general population, in between those two ages, is going to be your athletes that are in the most equipment. So your football players, lacrosse, soccer, or softball and baseball, your catchers are going to be more predisposed than maybe your outfielders. So the amount of equipment that they're wearing is also going to make you predisposed.
Okay. For our athletes and workers outside, are there any impacts of heat exposure over time?
Yes, that repetitive heat exposure where your body everything's processed through the kidneys. So the kidneys are working overtime. If they don't have enough water, they don't have enough of their electrolytes that they need, or they're not able to expel that, then that can lead to kidney stones, diabetes, kidney failure, those kind of things. That's obviously in a long-term exposure, but definitely a risk.
So even more important to hydrate and follow those other tips, like you said.
Absolutely, absolutely. Heat illness is preventable if you are really conscious and aware of it.
So is there anything else you want people to know who will be spending time outdoors this summer?
So I think a really good tool to keep is on your phone is the OSHA Heat Safety Tool app, and it will go directly to your location. So you use your current location, and it'll actually tell you kind of the both the temperature and the relative humidity, which are important factors in exposure to heat illness. And so it'll actually calculate them, measure them both, calculate them, and tell you if you're in like a watch zone, a precaution zone, or in a danger zone. And then and it actually has a lot of tips and stuff there too that you can have on hand to know, do I need to modify activity or anything like that? Okay. So it's a great tool. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us outside today. Thanks for having me.
To learn more about Rockhill Orthopaedic Specialists or to schedule an appointment, visit stlukeskc.org/Rockhill. You can also stay up to date with all the latest news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.